I was serving overseas 8,000 miles from home when my wife emailed me. I've filed for divorce, but that email, it wasn't the end of my story. It was only the beginning. It was a hot, dusty evening in Kandahar. I'd just come off a 12-hour shift, boots still caked with sand. I sat down, opened my laptop just to check in. That's when I saw her name, Linda, subject important. I clicked, expecting something small, a bill, a question, maybe just a hello. Instead, I read, "I've filed for the divorce. Please don't contact me." No reason, no warmth, no mention of the 27 years we'd built together, just done. I sat there, no anger, no tears, just the sound of the fan above me clicking, like a metronome counting down the life I thought I had. I didn't tell anyone. What could I say? That the woman who once called me her hero just erased me with one email, but that wasn't the end of it. That message, it was just the start of something darker. Because while I was fighting overseas, she was busy building a secret life back home. Weeks passed after that email. No messages, no explanations, nothing. I stayed quiet, buried in work, trying to keep my head down. But the silence only made it worse. Every night I stared at the ceiling, wondering where it all went wrong. Then I got a call from an old neighbor. He sounded nervous, like he didn't want to be the one telling me. But he said he thought I should know. There was a man living in my house, not visiting, living, driving my truck, sleeping in my bed, wearing my slippers, even using the grill I'd built with my own hands on Memorial Day. He said Linda introduced him as her new husband. They were hosting barbecues, laughing with friends who used to be mine. It wasn't just betrayal anymore, it was replacement. Like I'd been erased, not just from her heart, but from my own life. What hurt most wasn't that she moved on. It was how easily she filled in the space I left behind. How quickly she rewrote the story, as if I'd never existed. But even then, I had no idea what she was truly hiding. I thought the worst was behind me. Turns out, the real damage hadn't even started yet. I couldn't stop thinking about that man in my house, the way she replaced me like I was never there. So I started digging. Quietly. I asked my friend Michael, retired JAG officer, solid guy, to check on my property records back in Austin. What he found nearly dropped me. The house had been refinanced, under both our names, except I never signed anything. Someone had forged my signature, new mortgage, new loan, new power of attorney created without my knowledge. And the kicker? That loan had been approved just a week after I deployed. Linda didn't just replace me. She used my name, my credit, my trust, and I was 8,000 miles away, wearing a uniform while she turned my life into collateral. I felt the kind of anger that doesn't shout. It simmers, slow, controlled, dangerous, because this wasn't just a broken heart anymore, it was a crime. That's when I knew. I wasn't going to sit back and let them win. I wasn't just going to take the hit and walk away. No. I was going to take everything back, one piece at a time, because once you've taken everything from a man who has nothing left to lose, what you've made is a man who's ready to act. I didn't scream. Didn't send threats, didn't even reply to her email. Instead, I went quiet, dead quiet. Silence is dangerous when it's deliberate. I started collecting every document I had, copies of our original mortgage, old signatures, emails from the bank. I even pulled camera footage from my Ring doorbell saved in the cloud. That's when I saw him, Bradley, walking in and out like he owned the place, signing for packages, taking out my trash. I handed everything to Michael. He looped in a contact at the FBI who specialized in mortgage fraud and ID theft. Turns out, Bradley wasn't just living off my name. He'd done this before twice in other states. This time they had enough. Enough to open a federal case. I didn't feel victorious, not yet, because it wasn't over. It was just my turn to make a move. They'd taken my house, my money, and tried to take my name. Now I was taking back the one thing they couldn't touch, my resolve. And the next time Bradley walked out that front door, he wouldn't be walking out free. I didn't confront her, didn't send angry texts, didn't call anyone to rant. Instead, I made a list, everything I had, everything I lost, and everything I could still take back. I called Michael. He helped me pull title records, mortgage filings, and copies of the fake signature. We matched it with my actual handwriting. You didn't need a forensics expert to see the difference. I contacted the bank, reported identity theft. They froze the mortgage process. That stopped the house from being sold. Then we found the real lead. Bradley had used 2 other names in past transactions. Different states, same pattern. Find a vulnerable woman, help her forge documents, flip a house, disappear. But this time, he picked the wrong house. Mine. We got Ring footage of him checking the mail, moving furniture, acting like a homeowner. Michael sent it all to his FBI contact. Within a week, they opened a file. Mortgage fraud, wire fraud, federal offenses. I stayed quiet. But not because I was weak, because I was loading every bullet, paperwork, evidence, patience. I wasn't going to shoot, I was going to bury them in truth. And soon, they'd hear the knock. The knock came on a Tuesday morning. FBI, 2 agents, black suits, badges out. They weren't loud, they didn't need to be. Bradley answered the door shirtless, coffee in hand. He never saw it coming, neither did Linda. They were taken in quietly, no drama, just cold cuffs and paperwork. Later I learned the charges: wire fraud, forgery, identity theft, conspiracy. Bradley faced federal time. Linda wasn't charged criminally, but she was forced to forfeit everything. The house, the accounts, even her share of my pension. I didn't show up to court, didn't need to. I already had what mattered. My name back, my dignity, and silence, my final word. I sold the house, moved 2 states over, bought a small cabin near a lake. I fish now. I read. I make my own coffee in peace. Some people think revenge means yelling, breaking things, getting even. But for me, revenge was watching the world correct itself, while I said nothing at all. And just when I thought I'd heard the worst story a veteran could tell, a man I met at the VA clinic told me his son stole his entire life savings. That story was even harder to hear, but I'll tell it to you next.